What's really good? What's going on? Welcome to the End Goal Podcast, episode 0-3. Once again, continuing to talk about my successes and failures as a basis for the rest of this podcast in terms of letting you know who am I and who am I in terms of my failures and successes. There's a lot of segments to me. There's a lot of parts to me that I want to tell you guys about. That way you know where I'm coming from. So this episode, I really want to talk about my failures and successes in terms of the world of dance, not the competition. It fucking sucks in terms of my dance experience and my dance career, in a sense, which never was a career. It was always just a hobby. And so I want to start with my favorite story that I tell everybody. You have those stories that you always love telling because it makes you feel really good, and so people always listen. No matter like if you've told them before or not, they just listen because they know how much you like it. This is one of those stories, and I appreciate everybody who's listened to the story or listened to me talk about the story multiple times, right? So this is the story of how I got started dancing. I was in 6th grade. In my middle school, it was just a 6th and 7th grade, like combined grade in like one building. So we were at the school dance. And socially awkward Arish didn't really have friends to dance with because his friends didn't really dance like that. And then I wasn't in like the popular crowd or whatever, right? So I just kind of was like walking around the dance floor, and I was that kid who like danced like on the side. Like nobody's dancing with me. I'm just dancing with myself. And I was killing the game. I saw these two people, what looked like dance battling. They were just going at it. Right? So it was a black guy and a white guy. And they were like this close to each other, right? They were like this close to each other's faces and just going. Man was hitting the waves. Man was hitting like the struts, which I now know are kind of like small little attempts at struts, hitting the popping, all that stuff. And I watched them, right? And they both had such big grins on their faces while they were doing it that it made me just elated. It made me so happy. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to dance and maybe make somebody else that's watching me dance as happy as, watching them dance made me. That's when I really wanted to like try dancing, because growing up, obviously Indian, I watched a lot of Bollywood movies and Bollywood reality shows where a lot of them is called Dance India Dance, where there's like a dance competition and things like that. Watched obviously Step Up growing up and things like that. So I was already into dancing. My father loves to dance. My sister danced in college later on in life. This was me in 7th grade. She would have been in 9th grade. Or it's me in 6th grade. She would have been in 8th grade. My whole family was a musical family. We loved music. We loved to dance. I just wasn't good at it. I didn't know what I was doing. So, but I was like, I really want to try dancing. And so since then, I just started trying to emulate whatever I saw online, right? The isolations, like the neck stuff, the waving attempts, the footwork, all that stuff, like the catchy dance trends or whatever it is, Superman, the worm, all those random things, right? I just wanted to try them all out. And so my friends, by the end of high school, a lot of people knew me as a dancer because I just loved to dance. And I would do it as I'm walking anywhere, which I still do. Like I'm walking and I'm literally dancing. If my legs are moving to the beat of the song, my upper body's dancing. If my upper body's dancing or my lower body's dancing, my upper body's just like keeping the beat. It's just how it works, right? If you're a dancer, you know how it goes. I've already had conversation with y'all about this. So get into college. We're going to fast forward all the way to college because growing up, I just danced. Fast forward to college. This is okay. I grew up in a small town. And then I came to a college in a suburb outside of Dallas, Texas. So Dallas is a big melting pot. It's a big city. And so I got to college and I saw so many, obviously, people that I've never seen before in my life. Ethnicities that I've never seen before in my life, right? I was a small town kid. There were only like a few ethnicities there in total. Let's just put it that way. I thought about what I wanted to do at school, at university. What clubs did I want to join and things like that, right? I wasn't reading much back then, which is interesting because given that what I kind of want to do with my life right now is book content and creating content. But back then I stopped reading in high school just because I got a lot of the books I just got off of reading, and I was gaming a lot more. So I didn't really have a hobby outside of dancing and playing tennis. I played tennis in college as well, in high school as well. I don't remember how I came about this. I must have saw a flyer or something, but I saw that, people were hosting a dance class in one of the activity centers. So I went to the dance class. It was hosted by an organization called DFC. It's no longer around, but it was a nonprofit organization bringing dance to many high schools, individuals who otherwise like either couldn't go dance or didn't have people to go dance with, etc. It was a very great place. It was a very great place to like dance with individuals. So DFC was hosting a dance class, and it was choreography. Now, mind you, I have never done choreography in my life except for doing the Mexican hat dance for my Spanish AP class. That is the only time I ever did choreography like that, right? So this was straight up hip hop choreography. Your boy was not. No. All the thoughts that I had of like, oh, you can dance, that were in my head got flung out the door after that first choreography. I almost cried that night because I realized how garbage I was at dancing compared to everybody else who was here. And I mean awful, okay? I mean ass at dancing. So that was the first experience of me dancing in a college setting with people, like with people that I've never met before in my life. Choreo. I did not know the difference between freestyle and choreo back then. I was just taking a dance class. But I was like, I don't want to quit. I want to keep trying because I know I can be good at this. I know I have a musical ear. I know I have a rhythm. My technique is just god awful. So if I can get the technique, I can be good. Now that this was going on in my head back then, this is just retrospective. What I assume I was thinking, right? I don't even know what I was thinking back then. I was like, no, I want to go back. Yeah. So I went back, and I then learned of a dance team on campus called the FSA Modern Dance Team. FSA stands for Filipino Student Association Modern Dance Team, which was modern dance, basically hip hop. Basically, don't ask me why I thought about it, right? You like, are you Filipino? No, I'm not. I'm Indian. But it doesn't matter what ethnicity I was. I just wanted to enjoy dancing with other people, and that's how I did it. So what do I do, right? What do? I apply for the FSA Modern Dance Team, and they had auditions. I've never auditioned for something in my life. If you recall from the last video or the video about my educational life, I failed an application to UT Austin, right? This is technically an application to get into a dance team. It's an audition though. Oh boy. So I auditioned, right? This was going to hit my ego really hard if I didn't get this. So I got the call. One time I was just in the cafeteria getting lunch or whatever, and I got either a ping or I got a call from a guy I really admired in college. His style was dope. His dance, like, movement style was dope. I really enjoyed, like, Adrian, if I ever get to meet you again, I want to let you know how much I just admired, like, your character as me, influential, naive freshman, and you're just a cool dude. So I get a call from Adrian that I made the team, and I just about bawled my eyes out. I was tearing up. I was crying real man tears, bro. I was shedding water out of my eyes. I don't remember who it was that I called first, whether it was my mother or somebody else, but I was like, listen, I got into the dance team here. How dope is that? Man, I was like, let's go, like, just everywhere. I was so happy. And then rehearsal started, and that shit was intense. That was really intense. because it's nothing like I've ever experienced before in my life. I did not know what dancing in a group setting meant. I did not know what learning choreography meant. I did not know what the kind of choreography was going to be. We had 3 different instructors with their 3 different styles. Shout out Nick, Katie, and Adrian, and Sarah. 4 different instructors. They were all dope. I just didn't know what to expect. And it was a lot of hours training, like rehearsals, like 2-3 times a week. Y'all remember I talked about tennis, right? I wanted to join a tennis club on campus as well because I wanted to keep up tennis because I love tennis. Tennis club times conflicted with dance. So I had to make a decision, right? Dance rehearsals or tennis? And I chose dance over tennis because I was like, I can dance literally wherever I am all the time. I can only play tennis on the court. So going to dance would benefit me more than playing tennis. And that's where my tennis life really ended because I slowed down and basically stopped playing tennis after that because I had no one to play with most of the time. So I just full on went into dance. And the way FSA Modern worked is kind of like every semester there was a competition that we would make a set for and go perform at. So for the first 4 semesters of my college life, I was on dance teams. The first 2 were modern. The 3rd semester, I joined a DFC team on campus to showcase and things like that. And the 4th semester, I joined a team made by a very good friend of mine, Kevin, who started his own dance team to compete in the World of Dance Dallas competition. And he reached out to me. It was like an invite-only team, and he reached out for me to be in it. By this time, I knew that I was really bad at choreography. I'd been burned way too many times by not being picked for certain sets. Till this day, I'm still mad about it. I will probably be mad about it for the rest of my life, but till this day, I have never performed a Nick choreography on stage. And Nick, if you're watching this, I might clip this and send it to you. Till this day, I'm still upset that I was not good enough to perform a Nick choreo on stage. Because to me, Nick, out of the 4 choreographers that I had for FSA, was the most intricate, and his set was the one that I wanted. Like his and Adrian's sets were the 2 that I wanted to be in. I could never be in Nick's because it was so intricate and technique driven, and my technique just was not up there to where I could have probably done that well. Let's be honest. I was still ass, right? It was choreography. I was garbage at it. So what ended up happening was I never got to do that. So I ended up saying yes to Kevin's dance team because it was, as much as I did not like choreo, which I knew after 4 years of being in it, I wanted to help him. It was a very big boost to my ego to have a friend and a great dancer, in my opinion, like Kevin, reach out to me at that stage of my life after only having danced for like a year and a half like that, reached out to me to be on this team with him. And I met amazing people through it. It was amazing. It was a great experience. And then we competed. We actually got first place. It was a great experience for my life. For then to me to tell myself, I'm never doing choreo again in my life. I'm never competing with a team. I'm never dancing with a group like that. I'm never doing this ever because I hated it. I hated choreography so much to the point where I actually stopped dancing for a while. It was probably the 2nd semester of FSA, which was like my freshman year, going into DFC in the fall, where I did not get picked for a specific set that I wanted to do, going into Kevin's choreography, or Kevin's dance team. I hated choreography with a passion because it brought out all the flaws in my dance that were hiding through freestyle, and I absolutely hated it. And after I thought about it a lot as to why I hated choreography, I also hated it because I don't like doing somebody else's movement that doesn't feel good in my body. I did not want to do what the choreographer was telling me to do, because that's not how I interpreted the music, and that's not how I wanted to move to the music. Therefore, I just didn't like it. I didn't want to do it. I hated choreography. I quite literally stopped dancing because of choreography. But what brought me back to dancing was freestyle. We're gonna flashback. We're gonna go gray real quick. The first year, or the first semester that I was in FSA Modern, freshman year, I met this stupid little kid. It was Canvas. It was Alan. His name was Canvas, who joined the team. It was one of Nick's friends, one of the Nick the choreographer, like Nick the one of the directors, his friends. Alan was a stupid little kid, and I only say like that because Alan is my closest brother right now, so I can actually pick on him and mess with him. But Alan was this massive ball of energy that no matter what you did to him, he would give it back tenfold in terms of energy, right? Like choreo that he doesn't know, he'd give it back. Everybody's low on energy, he'd give you back 20 times the energy more. And he was just this goofy little dude who was so good at dancing. Well, in my eyes, he was so good at dancing and so good at just like making dance a fun, foolish thing to do, like not making it serious at all. Like he would always just break out in these random outbursts during sessions and during rehearsals and make everybody laugh. And I saw him and I met him. And that was the first time I wanted a dance mentor, and I wanted to be Canvas. And I wanted him to teach me. I was like, can you help me be a good dancer? And Canvas, being a nice dude, he definitely said sure, and he offered to start just like helping me with the dance. Not like training me, not mentoring me, but really just like saying, hey, here are the basics, right? I loved waving back then, and he got me started on the basics of waves. He got me started on the basics of popping just a little bit, but not much. It was mainly just the waves, like the small little like exercises to do to get better at waving. Because I'd already like waved throughout, like just like emulating people on like online, but I didn't know how waves actually worked, you know? So he got me started on waving. And that's where my life like changed, because I saw that through freestyle, I could dance to any song I wanted to dance to the way I wanted to dance to it. Through freestyle, through learning these techniques, right? I realized that as much as I hated choreography, it brought me into freestyle. It's been 18 minutes of me talking to you guys right now, and I've yet to share with you a lesson or a question. And here's another lesson for you, right? Is once again, when you try something, I didn't necessarily fail at choreography, right? But I tried it and I didn't like it. But that attempt opened up another door that changed my life. So do not stop yourself from trying something new. Stop yourself from becoming uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to do something you hate to find something you love. And I found freestyle dance, the thing I love, through choreography, the thing I hate. So always try and find something new to do to make you uncomfortable, to give you new skills that might make you meet new people who can give you something that you might love, who can give you an opportunity to do something that then you might love. You know what I mean? That was the big lesson out of that part of my dance career, is through choreography, I found freestyle, and through freestyle, I found my form of artistic expression at that point in my life, and still at this point in my life. And it basically gave me the beginnings of a home to put myself into in this area where I'm a new kid. I don't really have friends. That's what dance was for me. When it comes to being good at something that you want to do, I wanted to be a good dancer. But given the amount of times my ego had burned me in the past, and given the factual evidence that I can see in front of my eyes that this person, all of these people are so much better than me, I never allowed myself to, one, think that I was a good dancer. I never allowed my ego to come up in terms of, you know, you're a good dancer, you got this, you can do whatever. And I also never put myself in opportunities to then be put down. I tried dance battling, and I did not like it. I don't have a competitive bone in my body. I really don't care about beating anybody else. But I feel awful when I lose, but I don't feel so bad that it makes me want to go back and win. I just don't care, you know? I just don't have a competitive bone in my body. So dance battling was really tough. I tried battling multiple times with either groups or solo. And, it's one of those things where you can definitely say, and I've seen it in front of my eyes, right? You don't like it because you're not good at it. If you did it more, you might be more comfortable in the setting. You might feel better at it. If you practice more, you would get good at it, and getting good at it, you might end up liking it. That is a quote that I heard when I was in college, which was, you start, you're bad at it. You keep trying, you get better at it. Eventually, you get good at it, and that's where the fun starts. That's when you start liking what you're doing. I just did not want to put in time to dance battling. I just didn't like it. I just liked going out, freestyling, sessioning, expressing myself without there having to be a judged outcome of you were better than them or they were better than you. I just didn't like that. I don't like that. So I tried it, didn't like it. I just generally was just a general freestyler. But I still did not let myself feel good at dancing. I never, so this is 4 years of dancing, right up until I graduated. 5th year of dancing in my master's. I went home because I had to live at home once COVID hit because I didn't have anywhere to stay on campus, and work had pushed me off, pushed back my start date 4 months, and I had nowhere to stay and nothing to do here for those how many months. I went back home, went away from all my dance friends, but I still was dancing. I just didn't believe I was a good dancer. I'd done showcases at this point. I'd done battles at this point. I'd gotten to past prelims one time in my life at this point. Still did not believe I was a good dancer at all. So I went home and I kept dancing though. But it was just me to dance with. I had nobody else to dance with but myself. In my bedroom, at the gym, in front of the mirror, I was dancing. In between sets, I was moving. My body does not stay still when it comes to music, okay? I went into the metaphorical, hyperbolic time chamber when I was at home, and something clicked. There's a lesson in here, I promise. Just hear me out, okay? Something clicked, and I started just rapidly evolving in terms of my dance ability. And there's a specific video that I posted online that when Canvas saw it, he was like, bro, it clicked. And I looked at him and I said, it clicked. And all the details aside, details we can talk about at a different time, all the details aside, the fact that I think, or the reason that I think it clicked, that I believe it clicked for me to then allow myself to feel like I'm a good dancer. Because only after that day that it clicked, I said, I'm a good dancer. Yes, I am a good dancer. Yes, I am a good dancer. I'm a good dancer. Only then did I allow myself to think that. And it was because I got away from everybody and I just focused on myself. And that is the next lesson, is that in many times in our lives, we're so caught up with doing things with people and hanging out with people and seeing people and being around people. People are a distraction, though. Being around people a lot of the times can be a distraction from what you're trying to achieve. Sometimes you have to just go into the time chamber. Go, become a hermit for a little bit. Don't talk to anybody. Don't do anything, but focus on what you want to focus on for yourself to then have the breakthroughs that you need to have. Because what happens is you're trying to work on yourself, but then you're hanging out with people and their thoughts, their actions, their experiences, the experiences that you're having with them starts distracting you from what you should be doing, right? So the idea is that you need to, at times, pull away and just be with yourself. Focus on yourself above everybody else, because nobody's going to believe in you like the way you believe in yourself, and nobody's going to take care of you like the way you should take care of yourself, and no one is going to have the same level of ego for you as you have for yourself. So you need to take that time for yourself, with yourself, and really just work on it. Really just work on yourself. Work on whatever craft you're trying to, get better at, whatever craft you're trying to excel in, no matter how. And if you have friends who reach out during that time, like, hey, is everything okay? Like, we haven't heard from you in a while. Straight up, tell them, yo, I'm just working on myself right now. I will meet you when I'm ready. I will be there when I'm ready. I will reach out when I'm ready. And then when people are your real friends, they see that. And they're like, damn, he's focused. He is there for himself. He is focused on what he wants to do. I'm not going to bother him. I have friends like that. I know a lot of my friends saw me go through that during that COVID time, that I was just really just trying to work on myself. And it helps when you take yourself out of the setting. It helps when you take yourself out of the setting. And I want to ask you is, are you capable of removing yourself from the environment in which you are not able to grow? And then put yourself in an environment that is uncomfortable, but then allows growth. Are you capable of doing that? Because if you are not, that's step one, is trying to get comfortable with that. Then step two is doing it. Because a lot of us find comfort with people, but people are a distraction. Your mentors can be a distraction. People who support you can be a distraction from what really matters. That's what I believe. That is something that I'm working on right now, is trying to take myself out of certain situations that we can focus on what really matters. But it is a daily struggle with yourself, because as you get further in life, more responsibilities start coming into your life, more people that you're responsible for start coming into your life, and it's hard to take away everybody in your life. Obviously, I get that, but start stripping down at what's not necessary and keep it to the bare necessities. Jungle Book. You know what I mean? So these are the lessons that I learned in my dance career, is the time that it took for me to believe I was a good dancer. From the smile that I had on my sixth grade self, short ass kid, to now, when I dance, I'm not goofy like Canvas. I'm not crazy like my guy Rift. I'm not sick with the lines like my guy Zach. I'm not wavy like my guy Zenith, right? I don't have the energy like my guy Jacory. I don't have the intricacies like my guy MJG. I don't have the jack of all trades, yet master at a lot of them style like my guy Tisu. But yet I'm still able to put smiles on my friends' faces when I dance, and that was the ultimate goal of me starting to dance. It just took time for me to get there, right? I almost quit dancing, but then me almost quitting turned into, let's refocus on something else, and now I love it. So sometimes in life you have to quit certain goals or quit certain parts in your goal process to start other parts, which then take you to the end goal. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. And the last thing that I want to ask you is, do you have a form of artistic expression in your life? Because when it comes to achieving our goals, and this is something I'm serious about, right? We need a way to artistically express ourselves, in my opinion. Now, your goal could be artistic expression itself, or your goal could be something completely unrelated. But in my opinion, everything is an art form, right? Business is an art form. Making money online, starting a business, giving value to people is an art form. Actual music, performing arts, visual arts are an art form. If your goal is to be the best family person that you can for your family, that is an art form. There is an art to relationships with people. So my question is, do you have a form of artistic expression in your life? If not, can you convert something that you want to do into artistic expression? Can you do that? Because if you can, I believe that 1, it'll make it more fun. 2, it won't be as serious. 3, it will develop a sense of personal attachment to it, where you go and do something because you're expressing yourself through that versus just going to do something with no attachment at all. And 4, you might find people to do that with, because artistic expression is 1, about the self, and then 2, about the community. So those are all the lessons, and the questions that I've learned through my dance career over the past, 2015, 2013, over the past 8 years now that I've been dancing. I hope those lessons made sense. I hope they resonated with a few of you. And if they didn't, I understand. Like I said, I'm coming from different viewpoints in my life for these lessons. Not all the lessons you might be able to apply to your life, but I hope you can take my situations, my anecdotes, and think about your own life and anecdotes and think, was there a lesson in there that I missed? Because if there was, perfect. Pull that lesson out. Deconstruct that lesson. That being said, I really appreciate you listening to the End Goal Podcast. This was episode 3, talking about my dance career successes and failures. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like, review, or subscribe to this podcast or this YouTube channel, wherever you're watching this. I really appreciate you listening this far. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to reply or leave a comment in the video, or DM me on Instagram if you want to follow me there at End Goal Podcast. If you just want to talk about anything, talk about your own goals, if you want to talk about how to achieve goals, goal planning, whatever it is, hit me up. Let's talk. I'm open to giving you the most vague, overarching, superficial comment, down to the nitty-gritty. Let's get down to brass tacks. How are we going to actually do this? We'll love to do that with you. That being said, once again, thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next video. Not the video, the podcast.